That's kind of different what you got in the Greek. And to prepare to Yehovah, the people. Prepared. Now, I want to stop there for a second, and I don't think we're going to be able to read the whole thing, but I want to go back to the name. We're seeing here the name in a Hebrew gospel from the Vatican junk box with the vowels Yehovah. And there's one more thing I hope we have time to get to, but I want to talk about something about the name. One of the things you hear from scholars, there's actual solid scholarship out there from Gesenius, who we've mentioned him before. He was the great Hebrew grammarian, really, of the last 200 years. And although he got a bunch of things wrong, he really was a great grammarian. One of the things he says is those vowels that people think are the name Yehovah, and in English became Jehovah, those are the wrong vowels. And one of the arguments he brings is what's called the preposition argument. It's called the inseparable prepositions, or more accurately, for those who actually know Hebrew, the inseparable particles. So the inseparable particle argument is that when the name Yehovah is preceded by certain letters that are attached to the word, I don't want to get too complicated here, that the first letter is silent, just like it's in Adonai. And I want to show you what Adonai looks like. Adonai is the way Jews traditionally read this. And here we have a manuscript. This is a manuscript from the Russian National Library, EVR B52. And I call this, Michael, the B52 bomber of Hebrew manuscripts, because this proves definitively, puts to rest the whole issue of the vowels. Now, bear with me, people, for one moment here. You see here on your screen, it says Ladonai. That is the word Adonai with what's called the inseparable preposition or inseparable particle. And the la is attached to the word, and it has the vowel you would expect for Adonai. But one of the important things here is that the first letter of Adonai is silent. Why is it silent? Because in Hebrew you have la-a-donai. So la-a, it's a contraction, just like you say in English cannot, becomes can't. It's a typical contraction. It's called the elision of the aleph in Hebrew linguistics. La-donai, silent aleph. So there's no vowel in the aleph when it has the attached preposition. This is the inseparable particle. No aleph and Adonai. Why do we care about this? This is normal. You find this in every single manuscript, every printed Bible. What we discovered in B52, which became the B52 bomber of Hebrew manuscripts, is that when Yehovah is preceded by the attached preposition, it has the full vowels Yehovah. Now, I just told you the first letter of Adonai is silent. There's no vowel in that letter. And what we've been told for 200 years, since the time of Gesenius, is that the vowels of Yud-He-Vav-He, the vowels of the name, are the vowels of Adonai. And therefore, the vowel in the Yud of Yud-He-Vav-He represents the Aleph of Adonai. In fact, in the B52 manuscript, in the B52 bomber, there is no vowel in the Yud. Or let me rephrase that correctly. There is a vowel in the Yud. We expect there to be no vowel based on Gesenius, but in fact, it has the full vowels. And what I can say definitively without question is these are the vowels of the name. They can't be the vowels of Adonai. Now, what does this have to do with the Hebrew Gospels that we discovered in the Vatican junk box that I discovered 17 or 18 years ago? So you open up there, and in Luke, we just read the verse in Luke, and there it says, and to prepare for Yehovah, or to Yehovah the people, and it's La Yehovah with the full vowels. In Adonai, that first letter should have no vowel, but the fact that it has La Yehovah in the B52 bomber Hebrew manuscript, now in over 150 manuscripts of the Old Testament, we know it has this exact same thing. And it's even in the Gospel of Luke in Hebrew, proving definitively from a linguistic perspective that these are the true vowels of the name itself, not the vowels of Adonai, even in the Hebrew Gospel of Luke from the Vatican.
Amen. Amen. I'm not going to have time for Nehemiah to go through and translate it all, but in verse 25 of chapter 1, this is what Elizabeth said after she conceives. She says, Thus hath Yehovah dealt with me in the days wherein he looked upon me to take away my reproach among men. So that word Lord there is Yehovah with all the proper vowels included. And Nehemiah, start us off.
I'm going to read a little bit more.
Okay.
So we've seen the name Yehovah here in this Hebrew Luke from the Vatican. The name Yeshua is also there. Can we get to that?
Oh, okay. All right. Wow. That's what.
All right. In the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from Yehovah in a city of Galilee, and its name was Nazareth, to a certain virgin. And it's interesting there, the Hebrew word for virgin is Bethulah.
Mm-hmm.
To a certain Bethulah who was betrothed to a man, and his name was Yosef from the house of David.